Hi guys, I'm Leanna. I'm the supervising attorney at West Coast Trial Lawyers, and this is my journey to becoming an attorney. So I'm probably one of the few people that can actually pinpoint exactly when my journey began. It started a very long time ago when I was in 4th grade, and for some reason I came home and announced to my parents that I was going to grow up and be a lawyer. I'm not really sure I understood what that meant at the time, but for some reason that was just something that I wanted to do, and really ever since I've worked towards that goal. I went to school, I went to high school and college, and really took the traditional route. After undergrad, I took a little time off. I studied for the LSAT, and then I applied to law schools. I made the decision to go to a law school that was further away from home. I wanted to challenge myself to be away from my comfort zone. I really felt like by the time I got into law school, I was in my mid-20s. I wanted to experience being away from friends, being in a community, in a setting where I was surrounded by people I didn't know, and I really wanted to network and establish myself and really make a name for myself. And so when I was in law school, I really tried hard to become part of organizations, both on campus and outside of campus. I believe in networking, and I really, again, stepped out of my comfort zone and did a lot of that while I was in school. My first year, I was elected to be part of the student body organization, and I represented the 1L student body, which really is the first year students. And it really allowed me to get in the mix, meet people, talk about what their needs were, present it back to the organization, and really make sure that the school and the efforts were being geared towards people's needs, right? The student needs. And I really, really enjoyed networking, meeting people, helping people. And so I made the decision to interview to become part of the district attorney's office. And over the past few years, I've interviewed a lot of aspiring students, new lawyers, and I've come to realize that it wasn't just me, right? I feel like a lot of us kind of go into law school thinking that we're going to be prosecutors and district attorneys, because let's just face it, criminal law is probably one of the most interesting areas of law out there, in my humble opinion, of course. So when I was in law school, I really thought I was gonna work for a district attorney. I was gonna put bad guys away. And so when I interviewed, I was extended a position. I was placed in a DNA unit in Orange County. And that was the first time I really was exposed to the real world. And I realized that it is absolutely nothing like the movies, like TV. It was so interesting to be a part of the fast pace, the chaos, but it quickly shattered my view on whether or not that was something that I would be able to do. And I say that because I really wanted to have a family, I wanted to have kids, and the incredibly long hours that prosecutors, district attorneys put into being in trial, just the emotional toll of dealing with certain cases was, for me, it was just a lot. I don't know if it was because I was young or if, it just was the heaviness of the cases that I dealt with. But my first week on the job, I was allowed to go to trial, and the trial involved a case about the cartels. There were kids that were involved, and just some of the things that I heard them talking about and testifying to, it was shattering. And I really couldn't at the time separate my work from home life. I would just take all of that home, and I kept thinking about it. And so I was like, okay, maybe this is not for me. But I continued externing there. The experience was incredible. I would never trade it for the world. And most importantly, it allowed me to be in a field that I thought I wanted to be a part of, but really ultimately was not for me. And so then my 3rd year, I was recommended to the Honorable Judge Clarkson over in the Federal Bankruptcy Courthouse by one of my professors. He had submitted one of my writing samples. I went in for an interview, got the job, and so I externed there for about a year. I was good at it, but I absolutely hated bankruptcy. One of the reasons I probably went to law school was to avoid numbers. And so being in a position where we're dealing with bankruptcy and numbers and adding this and that, it was not for me. So really that was another job back to back that kind of helped me understand what I liked, where my passions lay, and what I didn't like. And I emphasize this to anyone who asks me about this and really here because I think it's so important to try things, and law school is really only about 3 years if you're part-time, and it is the time for you to explore. It's a time for you to get in and try certain things and figure out what you want to do. Otherwise, the alternative is you never really try anything out, and then you get your first job out of law school and you're stuck. And unfortunately, that happens a lot. And so my recommendation is to always try new things. At worst, you waste a semester externing, but you gain such valuable experience and exposure, and it could help mold your future. So after I graduated, I started applying. I took the bar, started applying to different jobs. I got a job at a smaller firm doing transactional work and bankruptcy. So I started thinking, this is gonna just haunt me for the rest of my life. I'm going to be stuck doing bankruptcy. And one day I just got a call from West Coast Trial Lawyers. They had seen my resume. I hadn't applied for any jobs. They gave me a call and they called me in for an interview. And interestingly, I had always told myself, I'm never gonna do personal injury, ever, ever, ever. So of all the things that I had tried in law school, I knew that I would never try personal injury. I was not gonna be an ambulance chaser. So it wasn't for me. But when I got the call, something in me told me to just go check out the firm. So I did some research and I learned very quickly that they were a startup. Really, they were starting to grow really rapidly, the huge social media presence, at least for the time. And this is about 5.5, almost 6 years ago. And so I went in for an interview and I truly believe my stars just aligned at that time, right? Our interests aligned. They were looking for someone who would come in and help with the pre-litigation department. I had zero experience in personal injury by then. I had certainly no experience in pre-litigation. And so I thought, you know what, this is maybe a sign. Let me try this out. I did like the energy, I liked the firm, so I thought, you know what, I've been doing things that haven't really worked out for me, so let me give this a shot. And honestly, the rest is just history. I can honestly say I worked my butt off from the minute that I got here. I was the yes man, if you will, right? Anything that was asked of me, I made sure that I did. And not because I was a pushover, but because I genuinely believed in the vision. I genuinely believed in the firm. I had so much respect for my colleagues at the time. But really, it was because it was a smaller firm. We had about 5 attorneys, 2 partners, Nima and Alan, all were men. So I felt like it gave me more of a boost of confidence to say, look, I can also step up. I can be just as aggressive, just as smart as the rest of you guys. And I really wanted to pave the way for not just myself, but other women who were going to come in and be part of this team, which was very rapidly growing and expanding. And, you know, when I passed the bar, I got a position as an attorney, of course, and we just kept growing and growing and growing. And I'm just so grateful that I got to be part of that team. And I do believe that I have made a footprint in the sand, if you will. I do want to believe that I've helped pave the way. We now have multiple female attorneys. I mean, we have an amazing staff full of women, and it's just incredible to be a part of this and to see the growth and to think that this was something that I had zero interest in doing. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity, but I also know that it was my hard work ethic and my persistence that kind of led us all to where we are today. And I really share this story because I think if you're watching this, my message to you is always stay on track. I mean, I'm no stranger to life's crazy curveballs, and you just have to keep getting through them, stay authentic to yourself and consistent, and believe in yourself and your dream, and all will fall into place. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in seeing more, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more notifications.